officials tonight. And this one is underway. It'll be Duke ball.
Caleb Foster coming back for another year running the point for Duke. And at times, Caden Boozer, Cam Boozer's younger brother, there's Boozer right away off a back pick. Just too easy.
Patrick Ngongba with the assist.
So many times Duke's going to look to screen Boozer down into the low post, put Kansas in a position to switch.
Badunga defended by Ngongba. Cameron Boozer finds himself on Trey White at the moment, although they are switching a lot. Cole Rosario into Badunga. Nice little shovel pass to Bryson Tiller, but he misses the short jumper.
Badunga's a left-hander. He looks to get back to that left hand as often as possible.
Does it here and finishes.
Well, if he can score inside, where that gives Kansas a post presence, that can be really good for the Jayhawks.
But a three at the other end for the Blue Devils to put them on top.
Isaiah Evans had 23 in his first game against Texas, only 29 points in the game since, but that's a good start for a guy that can get hot in a hurry.
Badunga tried the handoff, almost broken up there by Dame Sarr, and Badunga knows what to do with it.
Well, Sarr went for the steal, couldn't come up with it, but Badunga is explosive.
Played behind Hunter Dickinson last year for the Jayhawks and looks like a much improved player and obviously getting bigger minutes as a starter this year.
Badunga not going to go out and guard Ngongba, and Ngongba is a good passer.
Foster, and it's taken away by Rosario.
Not sure anybody plays harder than Cole Rosario.
Bill Self's a big fan. He likes Tiller too. Bryson Tiller, the freshman from Atlanta, who can really shoot the ball from the perimeter as well.
Tough to get organized after you turn the ball over and Kansas gets out in transition.
Evans thought about it. Little bounce pass into Ngongba. Boozer turns it over. 2-on-1 Kansas. Rosario to White, and a good start for the Jayhawks.
Boy, that's beautiful transition. After the turnover, that ball never hit the floor. Just went between White and Rosario for the easy bucket after doing something hard on defense.
Trey White, the senior from Dallas, playing for his fourth team. USC, Louisville, Illinois, and now in his senior year, a Kansas Jayhawk.
Little up screen for the screener. Double team, and Boozer passes right out of it to the diving Ngongba. That was really well handled off the double team.
Boy, didn't hesitate at all. He got rid of it in a heartbeat.
He doesn't project as a teenager the way he plays.
The three from the wing won't go for Tiller. What a rebound by White.
Just coming in from the weak side wing. Even though you're on the perimeter, you have to lay a body on somebody. You got to be a hit first defender.
Good energy in the early going in this one. Melvin Council Jr. rises up for the jumper, can't hit. The transfer from St. Bonaventure. And back come the Blue Devils looking for the lead.
Cam Boozer is such an outstanding rebounder.
Foster to Ngongba. Evans in the corner, Ngongba to Boozer, who can shoot the three. Shot clock inside 10. Wide open in the corner is Foster, and he'll knock it down.
Well, Cam Boozer just cut to the basket. It wasn't that hard of a cut, but that helped draw the defense and left Caleb Foster wide open in the corner.
Badunga trying to drive on Ngongba. Badunga lays it in to tie it up.
Boy, with that pass out, I thought Isaiah Evans was going to take that the other way, but that just opened up the lane for that drive. You help up, you're giving up a bucket.
Tied at 10, 4:15 into this one. Evans off a screen. Hesitates, left it short, and down with it White. Kansas running again. White forcing the issue and lays it in.
Nobody stopped the ball, and after Trey White got it, he just took it himself. There are a number of players that can just rip and run for this Kansas team, and that's the way they need to play. They got to get easy things in transition. They don't want to have to grind it out in the half court for 40 minutes.
Ngongba steps out again to help out on the offense. Boozer defended by Badunga. Strong into the paint, but too strong off the glass.
Good job by Badunga to challenge that without fouling.
Council, who's lightning quick, misses wide left on the runner, and back come the Blue Devils. Boozer for three.
That's just not the shot that you want in transition. Get that anytime.
Council using the Badunga screen. That'll go. And a foul.
Boy, beautiful job to use that ball screen, get the defender up throughout the course of the year. He wants to be 100% when he comes back.
The Naismith High School Player of the Year a season ago. The top-ranked recruit coming into college basketball this year, and potentially the #1 pick in the NBA draft, although Cameron DeBoozer, A.J. Devonson, and maybe a couple of others will have something to say about that.
Darren Peterson is smooth. Good pass.
Foster in the corner, misses the three. Strong rebound by Tiller.
Bryson Tiller has really had some good minutes early on in this season for Kansas. He can really shoot it. Remember, against North Carolina in the Dean Dome, he had 4 threes in that game before fouling out. He can really stretch the floor and play pick and pop with it.
That's Jaden Dawson, #1 with the ball, a transfer from Loyola Chicago. Council gets out of trouble, finds Dawson. They've still got some time. White lobs it inside. Badunga with Malik Brown on him, throws it through the hands of Tiller.
That's the first turnover for Kansas in this game. And one of the things that made that play for Duke was that hard hedge on the left side of the floor by Malik Brown, who leads this Duke team in limited minutes in deflections. Got great hands defensively.
John Shire feels he has at least 2 elite defenders, Malik Brown and the freshman Dame Sarr. Brown whips it cross court to Nicholas Hamenya. Good pass. Another member of the freshman class, and a good cut there by Brown to lay it in.
As soon as he catches the ball, he looks middle, and he's got vision of the other side of the floor. When the double comes, he's able to pass out of it.
White doubled and finds Dawson.
Duke doing a better job with help side defense. Kansas unable to turn the corner, get into the lane.
Shot clock starting to run down. White gets a 3 off, around and out. Tipped into the hands of Caden Boozer. He'll go all the way, but bothered from behind. It's out of bounds and still Duke ball.
Cam Boozer can operate off the lane. When he catches the ball 3 steps off the lane, he immediately looks middle and sees Malik Brown just cutting right to the front of the rim. That's just an excellent pass, and that's why he leads Duke in assists as a big guy.
He's got 2 already tonight. He's only got 2 points, 1 for 3 from the floor very early in this one, though, as he gets good position underneath. Can't lay it in.
Boy, reminiscent of that opening half of his season against Texas, where Cam Boozer couldn't get anything going, but had a great second half.
A great look from the corner for Dawson to extend the Kansas lead. Foster coming off a tough year a season ago, but almost looks rejuvenated, a bigger role. John Shire says he's come in this year great, and he looks to have a big impact on this Duke team this year.
Well, especially with Caden Boozer in the lineup and those 2 playing together. Duke just not doing a good job in transition to get out to shooters, and Dawson able to really step into that in rhythm. But when Caleb Foster's on the floor with Caden Boozer, that allows Foster to be more aggressive as a scorer, and that's really his nature.
Cam Boozer at the line. Some guys are very skilled, but maybe don't have that relentless drive about them. Some guys have the drive, maybe don't have the skill. He appears to have a whole lot of both.
Well, he's smart and he's competitive, but he's really powerful as well. Reminds you a little bit of Paolo Banchero, maybe even a little more skilled at this point in his development if you compare them both in their first 5 games. But John Shire has talked about him like, you don't need to show all your different skills out there. Just focus on dominating. And he's got the type of game where he can dominate basketball games.
How much fun is Carlos Boozer having watching his 2 sons play for Duke? Boozer had 3 great years in Durham, won a national championship, and a 13-year NBA career.
Well, what's great is Cam, especially, is going to make so much money in the future. He's going to be off the family cell phone plan earlier.
Marco Jackson misses the mid-range jumper. Jackson, the redshirt sophomore who missed all of last year due to injury. Amenya gets loose and lays in the reverse.
Boy, what a terrific move. Got stopped along the baseline, but was able to get his shoulders past the defender, get all the way to the other side of the rim.
A 6'8" freshman from Los Angeles, a McDonald's All-American. Trey White is off to a nice start tonight.
And that's the kind of freedom that I think Trey White and Melvin Council Jr. need to play with in this game. Kansas needs their scoring without Darren Peterson in the lineup.
Little bump there, but they play on. Evans trying to drive on White, and the shooter gets all the way to the rim to lay it in.
And that's been a big difference in Isaiah Evans this season versus last. Last year he focused mostly on shooting. This year he's driving it more, getting to the free throw line. A much stronger drive on that last possession. Got the advantage, was able to score through the contact. And he'll be able to have a chance to complete the end one when we come back.
Three-point play.
Isaiah Evans made 62 threes last season for Duke, shot over 40%. And remember that amazing first half he had against Auburn. And he's just a flamethrower, but he's really added to his game. He's thin, but he's gotten much stronger from last year to this year.
Rosario off to Badunga.
Kansas trying to get some back cuts.
Great cut there by Rosario.
Really good ball reversal. And going against the pressure, those back cuts can open up. And Cole Rosario, and he's a really good offensive rebounder. He had 16 points against Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
A guy who reclassified as well, right?
Yeah, I mean he's a strong kid.
Malik Brown has it poked away by Rosario. Council doing the lion's share of the ball handling with Peterson out tonight. Now a touch for Badunga. Cross court. In the corner, the three won't go for Dawson. Hit one from that very same spot just a couple of minutes ago.
That was a good cross court pass by Badunga, but foul.
Did not get the call.
And he got hit on the arm.
Rosario pulls up for a transition three, and Amenya the rebound for Duke. Caden Boozer off to Malik Brown. Amenya from the corner, a little bit short on the three. Look at the speed on Council. Badunga over the back on Ngongba, but here comes Duke in transition. Brown for three. Boy, and up and down they go, but nobody can make a shot right now. Rosario crossing over on Brown, almost lost it, now he did. And it's out of bounds to Kansas. Evans thought he had a breakaway, but couldn't corral it. As we now check in and listen into the last huddle for John Shire and the Blue Devils.
Big part of this is transition. All right? You don't have a man in transition.
Cam Boozer gets it out top, and as soon as he loses his balance, Isaiah Evans is the only one back in a 2-on-1 break. Ball never hit the floor. Kansas lays it in. Those are some of the pain points that Kansas has had because of their transition game. Keyed off some Duke mistakes.
Fast break points, 9-3, as you can see, in favor of the Jayhawks. Cameron Boozer back into the game, off to Ngongba. Boy, Dawson really wrapping up Dame Sarr, not letting him get free. And now another turnover. It's Dawson, the lob, and the finish for Badunga.
Kansas has taken advantage of Duke turnovers for easy buckets. And without Darren Peterson in the lineup, Kansas is generating offense off of its defense.
Jayhawk faithful here in New York City loving what they're seeing without their best player. The Jayhawks have a 6-point lead on the Blue Devils. Knicks, to so much great college basketball that has taken place here over the decades. Always a great place, a special place to watch a game.
They had WWE here last night.
That's right. Cameron Boozer not giving up any ground and scores over a couple of Jayhawks.
In traffic. But right now, Kansas has been scoring off of Duke's miscues. It's 11-3 in fast break points for the Jayhawks. That's been the difference.
Darren Harris has checked into the game now for Duke, number 8, a sophomore from Herndon, Virginia, who looks to have a bigger role this year than he did a year ago.
Council pulling the trigger after Caleb Foster went under that screen.
Boy, look at Dame Sarr. Had it knocked away at the end, and it's out of bounds to Kansas. A freshman from Italy. What does he bring to this Blue Devils team?
Well, he's an excellent defender. Great length. He's got a 7-foot wingspan. Made a good move here, but just cradled it. And Dawson was able to knock that ball away. But Dame Sarr, he's got a really good basketball IQ and a really good defender. He can switch multiple positions, got great hands, gets deflections, and he can make an open three.
Council at the point for Kansas. Dawson good minutes off the bench. What can they get out of Elmarko Jackson? Again, missed all of last year with injury. A former McDonald's All-American. They'd love some offensive contributions from him. Right now, Trey White has been very aggressive, and it is paying off for him.
Yeah, putting his head down and driving, went into the contact to draw that foul. Trey White played at Louisville, played at Illinois. He's averaged 10 points and 5 rebounds for his career, and can really stretch the floor as a perimeter shooter and a really good cutter as well.
The Charleston Classic is back this Friday on the ESPN networks and also on the all-new ESPN app. Kansas by 6, nearly 13 minutes into the game.
They got to get the ball to Boozer and let him touch it.
Immediate double. He finds Sarr, who finds Harris, who gets fouled. Got tripped up. It'll go on Elmarko Jackson.
Boy, that pass cross court and then the pass out really allowed Darren Harris to attack that closeout with a little shot fake and drive.
John Shire is asking for that to be a shooting foul, but the foul was called on the floor. You can see Shire motioning. He was in the act of shooting. He does not win the argument. Wide open Harris. Ngongba runs it down and throws it off the leg of White out of bounds.
Well, that was a beautiful screen for the screener action to get Harris wide open. He's so worried about Cam Boozer. That little pin-in screen got Harris a wide open look.
Right now, Trey White is defending Boozer. He's given up a lot of size, but he is certainly matching up with him in terms of tenacity. Inside, Ngongba, the follow. But no foul before.
And there's Boozer with that passing again. Once that double team, because he's off the post when he catches it, it takes that double a little while to get to him. And you just have to make yourself available. And Ngongba gets to the front of the rim, just too difficult for Elmarko Jackson to get.
Primary center, physical, athletic guy, good defender. They're going to be without Badunga for a while.
Well, that's always an issue for Flory Badunga, is avoiding fouls and trying to avoid the cheap ones. You're playing the post, you're going to get some fouls, but you want to avoid the cheap fouls. Sometimes giving up you can get a bucket back, you can't get a foul back.
And especially with the Badunga out, although Tiller's a big guy, Duke is a big team. The shortest player on the Duke roster is Caden Boozer at 6'4". They might not be quite as big as they were last year, but they're close.
Yeah, they do have really good positional size and really good length.
Council looking inside Tiller. And he backed down Brown. Kicks it back out to Council. Floats up a prayer, not close. Foster still going and lays it in.
Boy, did a really nice job of using Malik Brown, especially as kind of a screener as he was going to the bucket, and just went right around him and got all the way to the rim.
And Duke is back within 2 in a game in which they have trailed by as many as 6.
Instead of just putting his head down and barreling right into the lane, watch how Caleb Foster uses Malik Brown, gets that screen, just goes right around him and kisses it off the glass. Beautiful.
Chicago and Indianapolis. It'll be in Chicago next year. Same 4 teams. You just play a different school each time. So Kansas matching up with Duke in this one. And again, Kansas 3-1 against Duke in the Classic. Tough shot.
A good offensive rebound by Tiller.
White has played at 4 high major programs, been a starter at all 4 in his 4 years in college, and now we got a Duke foul away from the ball.
Yeah, Duke got caught on a switch there. Caleb Foster on Tiller. And Kansas has to keep mixing in some back cuts to open things up and go against Duke's pressure, because Duke's been able to pressure the ball. They're not letting Kansas turn the corner.
Duke switching everything on the perimeter. White into the paint, takes a bump, and will head back to the free throw line. Uber aggressive all night long.
Yeah, Trey White created that contact. And Darren Harris saying, hey, I was straight up and down. He just went right into his body, under his arm, to draw that contact. Looked offense initiated.
John Gaffney, the official who made the call, gave the signal that the arms of the defender came down enough to warrant a foul call. So it's White at the line for 2. John Shire did not play in the Champions Classic. His last year was 2009-2010, and the first year of the Classic was November of 2011. An assistant coach and now a head coach for many years. But
is that the first time in his life he's been too old to have played in something?
It sure doesn't look like coaching his age. I mean, he looks as youthful as he did when he got the job.
That's because he is youthful.
Had an outstanding career, national championship, senior year.
Yeah, he's one of the underrated stars in Duke history. You know, Cam Boozer passing out of that double team. He's able to get it cross court because he can see over the defense, and he's got such good passing instincts. You know, the double comes, then you got to close out, and then Dame Sarr drives that second closeout. You saw Darren Harris do that a little bit earlier in this first half. But it all results from Cameron Boozer drawing an additional defender, and then they play 3-on-2 on the backside.
Sarr from Italy, played for FC Barcelona. And again, an outstanding defender, misses the free throw, but Duke comes up with the offensive rebound, and now Cole Rosario commits a foul.
By Malik Brown just not giving up in that second slot. Such a tough block out when Kansas is playing a small lineup. And Tiller's usually in there playing the 4. Now he's got to play the 5 with Badunga with those 2 fouls.
They do have another big guy, Paul Mbia, a 7-foot center, 245 pounds, but he has not gotten a ton of minutes so far early in the season. Another transition opportunity, but they cannot convert.
Well, Duke again mishandling the ball. I wouldn't necessarily call that a forced turnover. It's just a question of being stronger with the ball against physical defense.
6 turnovers now committed by the Blue Devils to just 2 by the Jayhawks, and you can see Council just kind of regretting that whole sequence. He knows they should have had a basket there. Boozer initiating the contact, blocked from behind by White. It stays with Duke.
It looked like it went off White's leg, but a terrific block from behind. Boozer went immediately away from the double team baseline And that's just a really well-timed block by Trey White to save a basket.
Shot fake Boozer, now the drive, and a foul.
Yeah, you have to stay down on that shot fake. When you're guarding Boozer and he rises up for that, just be second to leave the floor to get pressure on it. If you're first off the floor, he's going to be gone.
Tiller his first, Boozer to the line. A place he figures to get to a lot this season, and so far in the young season of coming into the game tonight, 79%.
He's coming off a 35-point game against Indiana State, where he also had 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, and 3 steals.
Pretty historic night for a freshman, for anybody really. They have tied it up. Let's see how Kansas responds.
A roll replace action. That ball's got to go into the post quicker.
Tiller over Brown. Won't go. Boozer the rebound. Sarr. Now Harris. And another foul, and the Blue Devils getting back to the free throw line again.
Boy, Duke's done a nice job when they're shot faking against this Kansas defense and then driving it. You know, the shot fake is getting the defense off balance, and once you get past it, now you're in help and in scramble. It's quite a pair of shoes Darren Harris is wearing there. Sparkly.
Yep. Well, folks, tomorrow's ESPN NBA doubleheader features the Rockets against the Cavs at 7 Eastern. And then the Knicks and the Mavericks in the late game. The NBA Countdown crew will tip off the coverage at 6:30 Eastern. The Knicks playing without Jalen Brunson last night. Lost to Miami. He's out with an ankle injury. Miles McBride had 25, but not enough. As you look at the 5 starters for the Blue Devils a season ago, all of whom were taken in the NBA draft. And how about the kind of start that Con Knipple is off to in the NBA?
They had 32 the other night when they played against Milwaukee, and the Knipple family had the whole Charlotte Hornets team over for dinner.
Rosario, no. Offensive rebound for Mbia, seeing his first action tonight. Keeping it alive. White thought about the 3, decides against it. Boy, Brown's a good defender.
His hands are just magnificent.
White sizing him up, and again takes a bump and count the basket.
And that's a play that would not have counted that basket last year. But because it was continuous motion, just another way of saying continuation, it's an and one. Another strong move from Trey White, just creating something for himself, getting the angle and going right off the glass. Boozer, that's a pretty good starting lineup. Played a lot of years in the NBA.
Trey White misses the free throw. He's still the high scorer in the game with a dozen.
Duke going into a horn set right away.
Caden Boozer back into the game. Corner 3 is short for Sarr.
Got White just grabbing Badunga, trying to block him out. More of a face guard block out with an arm wrapped around him.
Number 2 on White, so it'll be Ngongba going to the line now for the Blue Devils for 1-1. Ngongba looks like he has taken a big step forward this year.
Yeah, he's played really well. He's in really good condition, and he's just a skilled big guy that's got obviously size, but really good feel. His footwork is good, and he's been very physical to start this season. He's also a capable passer that can step out and hit an open 3.
Bill Self will take White out of the game. Jamari McDowell, a redshirt sophomore from Houston. He sat out last year, back with the program this year. He comes in for the first time tonight.
Just don't want to risk White picking up that 3rd foul, but the issue is going to be where's the scoring going to come from with this group.
No Badunga, no White. And Ngongba makes one of two.
Really need to move the ball from side to side here before attacking. And if Mbia is going to get anything, it's going to have to be wedging somebody in so they can throw over the top.
McDowell called for the travel. This may be a group of five that Bill Self has never contemplated having on the court at the same time. And as you said, where will the offense come from? It might have to be a guy like Rosario, Council.
Well, they're going to have to do it with their defense.
Yeah.
And the fouls have been piling up. So every common foul, Duke's going to be shooting 2 free throws going into halftime.
Ngongba, yes.
He had Jamari McDowell on him. That's a mismatch down in the low post, and he was smart enough to just take it and shoot right over him.
It's really Mbia and 4 guards in there right now for the Jayhawks as McDowell almost traveled again.
He was fortunate he was bobbling it.
Rosario for 3. And Evans might have gotten a piece of that and gets the slam at the other end.
How about that pass from Cam Boozer all the way down the floor to a sprinting Isaiah Evans?
It's an 11-2 run right now for Duke.
Isaiah Evans, after getting maybe a piece of that shot, just takes off, and Cam Boozer just threw a bullet to him. That was just about a chest pass and right on the button for an easy bucket going the other way. And it's back onto the floor for the Jayhawks.
And hope he can avoid committing a foul in the last 2.5 minutes. He misses the 3. Evans had a good look in transition at a 3. Back comes Council. Council uses the screen, pulls up, can't hit. Evans the rebound.
Well, it was a good look. Ngongba in drop coverage, and Council just pulled right up, just couldn't knock it down.
And you can see Council struggling to get the ball in the basket. 1 for 8 tonight.
It's such a mismatch on Ngongba. Rosario's got to guard him.
Sarr for 3. Ngongba hits the deck. Here comes Council. Rosario's down as well.
Well, Rosario really fought Ngongba on the glass. Good shot fake.
And a foul on Caden Boozer.
Well, Kansas has really got some mismatch problems on the defensive end. They're so much smaller when they go into Ngongba. But Rosario's got to try to block out, 6'10", 6'11", giving up a lot of size, not just height, but pounds.
Because Badunga's got 2, Tiller's got 2 as well. So they've got Mbia in there, but guys like Rosario and White defending bigger players. Into Mbia. White, too strong off the glass, and a weak side rebound by Brown. Mbia fouls him, and Malik Brown will go to the line.
And Duke has been living at the foul line for the second part of this first half. I wish we could say second quarter. We need to be able to say second quarter sometime soon, Rules Committee.
I think the day will come where that happens.
Will we live to see it?
I can't confirm that. But I think it's coming. A lot of people in favor of that, right?
Well, the reason you have to have it is you have to be able to reset the team fouls at the end of the first and third quarter.
Reduces the number of free throws, the game flows more.
Exactly. Men's college basketball is literally the only game of basketball played in the world that doesn't have quarters.
Yep.
And we ought to alert the rest of the world on what we know that they don't.
6-point lead. Duke has now attempted 14 free throws to just 6 for Kansas.
Kansas trying to lift up this Duke defense, but Duke doing a better job of guarding the ball. Switching 1 through 5 with this lineup.
Dawson misses the 3. Boozer the rebound. As we move into the final minute here in the first half. Dominated early by Kansas, but late by Duke. Evans, no. Follow, yes. Way too easy for Nicholas Amenya.
Amenya just came in from the right wing. Got a block out of Malik Brown, but that wasn't good enough because he could just waltz right all the way to the basket to put that in.
All Duke since Kansas got in foul trouble. Shot clock at 10. White for 3. They needed it.
Needed that in a big way. Well, where would Kansas be without Trey White? He has been outstanding in this first half, and that's why Bill Self had to bring him in, take that risk with those 2 fouls.
Shot clock turned off here at the end of the first half. Cameron Boozer up top. Evans launches, hits. What a shot by Isaiah Evans.
Just ghosted out of that pick and roll and faded right to the 3-point line. Boy, what an ending to the first half for Duke.
A 17-5 run to pull that off, keep the important guys out of foul trouble, and get right back in this game as the second half is underway with the State Farm Champions Classic. White looking inside. Badunga. Good defense by Ngongba, but Badunga solves it with a reverse slam.
Well, he pivoted out, looked like he was going to pass the ball back out, and Ngongba changed his positioning. Instead of protecting the basket, he's trying to take away the pass, and that just opened up the lane.
Boy, Badunga's got to be careful. He had 2 hands wrapped around Ngongba for a moment. The last thing Bill Self will live with right now is a bad third foul on one of his key players.
Whenever you're guarding a guy like Badunga and he's got the ball there, you got to protect the basket. You try to take away that pass. Who cares if he passes it out? But that opened up the lane for him to pivot to the other side of the bucket and dunk it on him.
Boozer again passes out of the double team. Good hustle by Badunga, but it winds up in the hands of Sarr. Ngongba the flush.
Kansas just being put in rotation and then ultimately in scramble when they didn't get that loose ball.
And very unselfish basketball at the offensive end for the Blue Devils. They could really use Tiller on the floor and his shooting ability as well, as Ngongba's called for a foul.
Boozer put good pressure on Tiller with the ball because otherwise he could have just fed it right into Badunga, who had an angle. All he had to do was throw it up to the square and he could go get it.
Badunga hands it back to Council. White, the high scorer in the game. Council again.
Good
Dawson
fake.
gets his man in the air and hits the J.
Boy, that shot fake made the entire play. You got a ball reversal and then you shot fake the closeout and it opens it up. Really nice play by Dawson and by Kansas.
Boozer open for 3. Count it.
Duke has proven throughout this early season to be a second half team. And Cam Boozer, remember, he had a goose egg in that first game against Texas, came out at 15 in the second half.
A guy who can beat you inside and out. Over the top, Tiller. Falls down. The ball was underneath him, and he couldn't get to it, and Duke comes out with it. Sarr. And White, a rebound in traffic.
Boy, good ball movement, but Boozer should have taken that himself.
Look at the speed and the finish by Melvin Council Jr.
Bill Self was talking about Melvin Council Jr. and his speed today at practice. And the other thing he said is he can't wipe the smile off his face.
From Rochester, New York, again a transfer from St. Bonaventure, as Evans is fouled on the turnaround.
Just made a really good cut. And that is something I think that can take Duke to the next level, is if they become a better cut. They're a good cutting team, but they can become a better cutting team. And Cam Boozer, if you give him that open shot, he can make it. But that speed of Melvin Council Jr. reminds you of Tyshawn Taylor a little bit when he played at Kansas. Just jets.
So becoming a better cutting team, is that knowing when to cut or cutting with more intent? What's the next level?
Well, it's both, but it's, you know, some people call it a sacrificial cut, but it's an unselfish cut, because sometimes you cut without getting the ball, and that opens up other opportunities for teammates. But especially when you got a passer, and he's not the only good passer on this team, but you got a passer like Cameron Boozer. You know, if you're really good cutting, he's going to find you. Duke able to switch so many positions on the floor.
Boy, it's physical inside between Badunga and Ngongba. Council finds a little room, finds Badunga, who lays it in.
Just the threat of Badunga when he rolls to the basket, and then you drive, and he moves to the front of the rim. And he can dunk it with power over you.
Evans turns the corner. No look pass into the corner, and Dame Sarr buries a three.
Well, Duke does such a good job of spacing the floor. And Sarr over in that left corner was ready to shoot when the ball arrived.
Sarr is now 8 for 18 shooting threes on the season. A wild one there from Badunga. Foster. Oh, great hustle by Sarr coming in from the weak side, and he's fouled.
It looked like it was Dawson. With the floor spaced, it's awfully difficult to get a block out of a wing shooter when they get a run up. You have to turn and go find somebody and lay a body on them. And it can't be just, you know, you're going to turn your back and try to do it. You just got to go hit them.
Jaden Dawson becomes the first player with 3 fouls on either side tonight. Boozer into the lane. Left it short with the left, battling with the rebound. Can't come up with it. But Kansas turns it back over. Under an NBA player, and then your kids start beating you. That's when you know they're pretty good. And of course, Carlos, a great part of our crew with the ACC network. Does great work.
Really good work.
Evans on the drive. Out of bounds to Kansas. What does Kansas have to do to get going offensively?
They've got to move the ball from one side of the floor to the other. When Kansas is at its best, it's getting downhill, drawing help, and then playing out of it. But Duke's done a really good job of pressuring the ball. They're switching most screens and exchanges. And with this lineup, they can switch at all 5 positions.
White keeping them in it.
Now, White's been the majority of this Kansas offense, especially from threes. Knocked down a couple threes in this game. But one thing Kansas has to do is they got to keep Duke off the free throw line.
Cam Boozer over Tiller. And Tiller down with the rebound. Did a good job defensively.
It made him fade away, and that's not what Cam Boozer wants to do. He wants to get into your body where he can draw a foul.
Boozer with 10, but as you can see, just 3 of 9 from the floor. Badunga saying it was off a Duke player, and Bill Self is saying the same thing. But I don't think they're going to win the argument.
Unless they challenge it.
Yeah. Well, Bill Self pleading with the officials. Both he and Badunga made the same motion as if it hit the back of Cam Boozer, but don't know that it did.
Yeah, it didn't look like it there.
Amenya, backdoor cut, the kick eventually out to Caden Boozer for three.
And again, Cam Boozer with the assist.
Council with a burst of speed and fouled by Caden Boozer.
That cut by Amenya was really a good one. Set the screen, slipped out of it, and was able to get it to Boozer. That extra pass, Boozer to Boozer.
That's happened more than a few times over the years. Cole Rosario back into the game for Kansas as Dawson sits. But a pretty quiet night for Rosario. 1 for 4, 2 points. Badunga to a cutting Tiller, who's fouled.
You know, when Darren Peterson is in the Kansas lineup, he's out with that hamstring injury. You can really put him and Badunga in a two-man game, and because Badunga gets out of ball screens so well, he can drag the defense, and Peterson is just a magnificent scorer.
The Blue Devils highlight Sunday's ACC network schedule when they host Howard at Cameron Indoor at 4 Eastern. And then Monday night, it'll be Louisville and Eastern Michigan. Both are also available on the all-new ESPN app.
Howard is coached by Kenny Blakeney, played on Duke's national championship teams in '91 and '92.
And you corrected me on my pronunciation a year ago of Bison versus Bison.
Bison,
right? There are those who agree with me, but unfortunately for me, you're not among them. Depends where you're from. Anybody listening in Buffalo right now would say Bison because the AAA baseball team there is the Buffalo Bisons. But I'll let you win this one. 3 on Badunga.
I think you'll let me win that one because nobody cares. Literally nobody.
8-point lead for Duke. Brown whips a pass to Cameron Boozer. Misses the three and the rebound to Badunga. And he needs some help. Got to find a guard, and he finds White. Tiller. Boy, Badunga was way up there. So was White. But they couldn't come down with it, couldn't convert it, and it's Duke in transition.
What a pass.
Amenya short on the three, just grazed the rim. Boozer blocked by Badunga.
Well, what a reaction by Flory Badunga to block that shot.
White driving on Evans. Stumbles. Ball still live.
That is about the lowest rebound that Trey White will ever get. I think he was fully seated when he grabbed that rebound.
5 to shoot. Council. And 1.
Oh, what an aggressive drive by Melvin Council Jr. Got right into the body of the defender and was still able to finish that play with the continuous motion. Just got the angle, went right into his body.
And Kansas is as close as they have been in a while. They are back within 6. The Blue Devils have missed 7 of their last 8 field goal attempts. Multiple subs for both coaches right now. Bill Self making sure everybody is matched up. Badunga is going to have a seat, at least for a little while.
That gives them some rest going into the next media timeout.
5-point game. Caden Boozer into the front court. So who's the go-to guy offensively on this unit for Duke?
The open man.
Kansas fans making the noise right now. Caden Boozer. Just goes and gets a bucket when they needed one. ball. Caden Boozer obviously doesn't get the hype that Cameron does. What do you like most about Caden Boozer's game?
Well, he can penetrate and pitch, and he's a good passer that's got a really good feel. And I really like the way he can change pace, change direction. And thus far in his early career, he makes really good reads out of screen roll situations.
Counsell the drive, floater goes. And again, it's a 5-point game.
Boy, Counsell really doing a good job of using that speed and creating an angle.
Counsell wanted a foul. The Kansas bench wanted a foul on the screen by Malik Brown, but they don't get it. And it's Caden Boozer again.
There's that change of pace that we were just talking about. Instead of blasting off, really used his pace and just took off at the end to get to the other side of the rim.
Tiller whips it into the corner. The three is short for Rosario.
Not sure you need to double Tiller down there. That just opened up that cross-court pass.
Harris. Now Brown.
Good job by Counsell to take away that handoff.
Harris with a quick release, misses the three, and it's Kansas ball. Here comes White. Kansas is hanging in there right now. Counsell, another burst of speed.
Well, talk about a first step. This is Flory Badunga getting some extra rest right now.
Momentum swinging in the direction of the Jayhawks. Ngongba, backdoor cut to Brown. What a find.
He just slipped out of that screen. It looked like it was going to be a wide pin. And he just slipped right out of it. And a beautiful pass by Ngongba.
His second assist of the night. Baseline, Rosario. Tiller for three. Amenya fouled by Cole Rosario. And finally, after a long stretch without a whistle, we'll have a timeout on the floor. Kansas pushing and pushing, but again, great execution and ball movement by the Blue Devils when they really needed a basket.
Ball in the middle of the floor, eliminates help, slipping out of the screen for the easy basket. He's 0 of 3 from 3, but he can stretch it.
Kansas just 3 for 15 from three-point range.
There's that fade screen action.
Offensive foul, and back over to Kansas. Let's listen in to Bill Self in the last Kansas huddle.
The next 4 minutes, anybody's game. You guys all have this. The next 4 minutes, anybody's game.
Win the next 4 minutes, it's anybody's game.
Well, coaches often talk about these 4-minute stretches. Bob McKillop, former coach at Davidson, used to talk about it being a 10 4-minute rounds.
Executing what I'm asking you to do.
You know, Chris, that's how a lot of analysts feel with play-by-play people.
Sorry, what'd you say? I heard Chris fine. The follow by Rosario. And again, it is down to 5.
Well, we've talked about what a good offensive rebounder Cole Rosario is. And a vertical athlete as well.
Bill Self is a big fan of his. The effort, the defense, the toughness. Saw wide open in the corner.
What a rebound.
And Boozer gets it to go and one.
Right over the top with 2 hands to grab that rebound. It was a great screen off that skip pass by Malik Brown for the wide open 3. But that's a big time offensive rebound by Cameron Boozer. Watch this screen by Malik Brown. Picked off Melvin Counsell Jr. Missed it. But just a little bump in the back of Bryson Tiller. That opened it up for Boozer. When you're a former Duke player, you can name your son after Cameron Indoor Stadium, it sounds pretty good. Like a Kansas player can't really name his son Allen Fieldhouse. I guess you can call him Allen. There are a lot of Allens.
7-point lead. On a couple of occasions, Kansas has gotten it down to 5. That's the closest they've been this half. Badunga with 3 fakes and eventually is fouled by Cam Boozer.
Just that inside position. It's so tough to block a shot from behind without getting a piece of them. But that's the value of Badunga. When he is down in that low post and rolls down in the low post, he drags a lot of defenders with him. And he does a really good job of getting an angle. And he can move you up the lane. You can throw over the top.
Badunga's first trip to the line tonight. He is 10 for 12 on the season. Bill Self, Hall of Famer, 2 national championships. Coming off by Kansas's standards, which are obviously incredibly high, a couple of down years for the Jayhawks. A 4 seed one year, a 7 the other, 5th in the Big 12 one year, 6th the other season. Obviously, the Big 12 loaded again. Remains to be seen how the top part of the league sorts itself out this year.
Yeah, for most other teams, last 2 years would be good. But for Kansas, 44 and 24 the last 2 years. That's the most losses back-to-back in seasons since 1983.
As you can see, picked 6th in the Big 12 preseason. Houston up at the top. Just so many good teams.
Iowa State is going to be really good again, and is really good again.
Yep. BYU, obviously.
Yeah, Baylor looked really good in their game the other night. Yep.
Council can't turn the corner. Tiller will try. And reverses it up and in. And again, they're within 5.
Yeah, just too easy getting to the bucket and then going to the other side without much resistance.
He's got a lot of skill.
No, he's a good player. Yeah. Boy, Duke's getting some good action off these slips to the basket.
Sarr is fouled and will be at the free throw line when we come back. 7:28 to go here in the second half of the nightcap of the State Farm Champions Classic, and it's a good one. 2 heavyweights going at it. Number 4 on him.
Yeah, just opening up an angle. He's got to come over from the weak side late. Just made contact with Dame Sarr. And just one of those cheap ones you don't want to pick up. And it's so difficult. You know, you want to be aggressive, but at the same time, you're better off just letting him go.
Held now by 3 coaches. Himself, Brad Stevens at Butler, and Brad Underwood, who did it at Stephen F. Austin, his first stop.
Pretty good company.
One of 2 for Sarr, and the lead is 6.
Kansas needs to get a ball reversal here. If they move it from one side to the other, they've gotten some good things.
Here's Dawson. Had Badunga for a moment. Instead, Tiller. Council can't get into the paint. And Tiller is fouled by Sarr.
Just a strong drive by Tiller. Even though Sarr was there, he just ran him over and put him in a position to foul.
And both teams are in the bonus with better than 7 minutes to go in this game.
But a lot of that has to do with Kansas moving the ball from side to side. And that's one thing that Bill Self preaches is ball reversal, ball reversal, ball reversal. You got to move the defense before you attack it.
Free throws will be big down the stretch.
We've got 3 misses in a row now for Kansas.
8 for 12 on the night, and yes, 3 misses in a row. Boozer, step back 3.
Not sure that was the shot right there.
They've held White in check a little bit more here in the second half.
A good hard hedge by Malik Brown.
Tough pass into traffic, and Bidunga finishes.
Talk about playing above the rim.
It is down to 4. And the rebound for White.
Well, 2 really quick shots by Duke.
Woo, all kinds of contact, and it is going against Tiller.
Yeah, Tiller just lowered that shoulder.
Number 4 on him. Boy, that's taken some contact to get a foul, and Evans is feeling it. Ooh. Evans has given up a lot of weight in that collision. Six minutes to go. Evans up top, and Ngongba with a slam.
A beautiful cut by Isaiah Evans.
Council. And what a reverse there by White. Boy, a great cut and a great finish by Trey White.
Well, Bidunga stepped out there to set that screen. Thought Council might have taken off too early to put him in a position to foul.
And a goaltending call on Bidunga.
It hit the backboard first.
Bill Self is not in this business for moral victories, but without Darren Peterson, as you get another look at an easy call, clearly off the glass. They are hanging around without
points. He's got 6 assists and only 1 turnover.
And has played almost the entire game. He's only been off for 2 minutes.
Duke in a little 3-2 zone. Kansas may have some opportunities in the middle, but you got to get into the gaps.
Looking for Tiller inside. Can't get it there. Council knocks down a 3. And for Melvin Council Jr., that is his first made 3 of the season in 11 attempts.
And could that have come at a better time? Going up against the zone and knocking that down after getting the ball back.
But now Boozer sneaks underneath, triple teamed, and finishes.
And Melvin Council Jr. was able to get a piece of that first attempt, but Tiller didn't want to foul, just tried to wall up inside and make Boozer finish over the top.
Tiller playing with 4, Bidunga playing with 4. Tiller. Tough catch in traffic, Bidunga cannot finish it. Well, you like the unselfishness of Tiller, but it looked like he had a wide open jumper from about 12 feet away.
Yeah, he could have taken it.
Five-point game, 4 minutes to go. Caden Boozer had a couple of big baskets earlier this half. Driving on Dawson, can't get it to go. And it's out of bounds. It'll be Duke ball when we come back after the media timeout with 3:51 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And Kinder's, handcrafted flavor since 1946.
50%.
Wow. Evans had to get it off because of the shot clock, and he buries it.
That's a huge bucket for Duke off the out of bounds underneath. Isaiah Evans, his range is unlimited.
His third 3 tonight. He's got 16 points. Council no. Evans the tip. Ngongba the gather. And it's Duke ball.
Good pass.
And good patience that they didn't force it. Ngongba now looks for help and back into the hands, eventually, of Caden Boozer.
A little Spain action.
Foster. A battle for the rebound, and the foul's on Tiller, and he is out of the game.
Well, he just couldn't move freshman that he has ever coached, and maybe the best freshman.
And he's had some pretty good freshmen.
Heck yeah. Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins. There's been a bunch of them. Coached some pretty good ones at Illinois, too.
Yep.
Darren Williams.
Badunga finally able to get it to Council. Short on the three. Foster the rebound.
It's too tough a shot with Isaiah Evans right in him with that length to bother that shot.
You know, you hope for Kansas' sake that Peterson, and for his sake, that Peterson isn't out too long. They're going to the Players Era Festival in Vegas. They've got Notre Dame and Syracuse, and then a TBD opponent. Then early December, they've got UConn, and then they've got Missouri. I mean,
that was a really good drive to the rim by Caleb Foster. When he and Caden Boozer in the game together, he can operate as a scoring guard rather than having the responsibility just of running the team.
One of two, and the lead is 9. Dawson can't get the shot off. Good defense. Good closeout there by Caden Boozer. And now just 2 minutes remain. Rosario for 3. And Foster the rebound.
Now Duke can take its time. Not taking the air out of the ball, but you don't have to be in a hurry. The clock's your friend with this 9-point lead. And right now with the overplay, a slip to the basket can get you an easy one.
An easy one for Cameron Boozer.
Just a little ball screen roll right out of the middle, and nobody there to pick him up. Just well executed.
White lost it. Foster gets it over, and again they are not in a rush. They got a push from the underman Jayhawks without Darren Peterson, but executed well enough when it mattered the most here in the second half to take a double-digit lead into the last minute. Foster's fouled.
Well, Duke operating out of the middle of the floor. A little ball screen set by Boozer. He just rolls out of it. They hit him in the middle of the lane on the short roll, and he just takes it all the way down. And there's nobody coming from the weak side that can bother that. You can really move Cam Boozer all over the floor. Screen him down into the post. He can catch it off the post. And his passing ability is next level.
How about that? First ACC player since 2006 putting up totals of points, rebounds, and assists. I think it was 150 and 20 over a 5-game span since Craig Smith of Boston College 19 years ago.
Running that tight flex for Al Skinner.
Right. And by the way, these are the first 5 games Cameron Boozer's ever played at this level, so we shouldn't lose sight of that. And another foul. Tonight for Cam Boozer, 18 and 9. And Papa's got to be proud. Both of his sons played well tonight.
Really well.
Caden had some big moments when they needed some big moments in the second half.
Trey White on the line, shoots 1 and 1.
Duke's going to go home. They'll play Niagara and Howard in their next 2 games, but they've got some big ones coming. Arkansas, Florida, at East Lansing against Michigan State, Texas Tech among their games between now and the holidays.
Arkansas has got some outstanding freshman guards. Darius Acuff Jr., Malik Thomas. Just super talented.
I'll tell you, given what we saw from Michigan State tonight in the first game, that Duke-Michigan State game will be fun.
Especially at Breslin.
Yeah.
And Florida's big guys are such a challenge. Alex Condon and Thomas Houck is playing great basketball.
Ngongba will head to the line now for John Shire's Blue Devils. A Final Four team a year ago, and a lot of turnover, obviously, as all teams have these days in college basketball, but kind of a nice blend of returning players and very talented freshmen.
Just super talented freshmen, the #1 recruiting class in the country, and they're playing like it.
Dawson misses the 3. Boozer with a rebound. The shot clock is turned off. They can walk it up and finish it off. Got to push. Kansas got it all the way down to 3 here in the second half, but just couldn't find enough ways to score. Duke executed well in key spots at the offensive end, and Jay, the Blue Devils go to 5-0 on the young season.
Well, this Blue Devil team has a lot of weapons, and as they mature as a defensive team, continue to rebound at a high level, this team's going to have a